All right, welcome back to the garage. It's been a long winter. Car's exactly the way I left it. Absolutely nothing done since the last time I posted anything. So, lots of pictures, no video. So this time around, and maybe going forward, I am going to start posting videos. It's going to be my first time, so bear with me if it's kind of Blair Witch-like, and I tend to ramble on. So hopefully that's not going to be annoying to some. You may get some useful information out of this, and maybe not. This is a 1988 CRX. I've had it pretty much since new. It was a solo car. It had this D16A6 in it. It is being replaced with this B16A. This is a Japanese spec. The race series that I am building the car for is part of the Varak series. It is a historic race series run here. So I have to stick with engines that were produced for the car. So B16, I'm not doing a B18. I'd love to put a B18C into it. Not going to happen. Part of the other reason I took the winter off was trying to decide what I was going to do. I use this car as inspiration. Some of you may recognize it off the internet. This is one of the nicer CRXs. It took my inspiration from it a little bit. I actually played around with it. I was going to chop the roof, which is why I have the graph lines on it. I actually used this and cut it up. You can see on the back side I used tape and cut the paper in such a way that I would know where to do the cuts on the car if I was going to chop, 2 to 3 inches out of the roof. What would make the most sense, cause me the least amount of work, and at the end look pretty good. In the end, I decided that was just going to be way too much work, because at the end of the day, it's a race car. It's not supposed to be super pretty, although I would love it to be. This is not going to be a show car. So what I am doing is I am using the CASC rules to build my cage. I have already gone through the car and mapped most of it out, so I know the length of the pieces that I'm going to need. So, car's a little rough. That I'm not overly concerned about, because all of that is going to be fixed. The floor itself is very solid. So I'll show you that. And just so you get to see the rotisserie that I built, as some of you may have seen in some of the photos. Don't mind some of the stuff around here. My shop is still a little messy from the winter. It is made out of wood. It is welded directly onto the bumper support in the front. I made a bracket for it on the back of the car. Also, you can see it's made out of wood. So the reason I did this is because, well, I'm getting older. I don't really want to have to bend over if I don't have to. So to make things easier on myself, I made this. Now you can see I'm just going to use one hand. This rotates super easy. It's easy to control. I can set this anywhere I want to make it easy for me to work on. I did have it just sitting on my tool tray, my rolling tool cart. So what it does makes it a whole lot easier for me to get into all of these spots here and work on it. In order to make it a little easier for me to keep the car at a certain height. I also have a chain hoist on the ceiling, and what this does is it allows the car, or what it does is, because it's sitting up against the back of the car, I can just tighten or loosen the chain tension on this, and the car rotates so that I get more access to the bottom. So what I'm going to do now is tackle this spot here. So I'm going to start on the driver's side first. All of this is going to come out. I was going to replace all of these pieces here. I think what I'm going to end up doing, though, because this is hidden underneath a lot, I'm just going to cut a straight edge. I'm going to bend and weld a couple of pieces in there. I'll probably beef up this a little bit. I know it's going to have a roll cage in it, but that pinch weld, I like to have as much support there as possible. So, car, I really don't want to have flex. I'm still waiting for my fuel cell to come in to figure out what I'm going to do in this area here. I think what will end up happening is the entire backside of the car will come out. So the suspension will come out. That'll all get tied into the roll cage. The idea is to make this a flat bottom with a diffuser out the back to straighten the air out, so I don't need any of the spare tire. I don't need any of that in the way of all of that, so I'm going to try and get rid of everything that I don't need, maintain the suspension points, which on this car there's 4, simply because of the design. So, you know, it'll be a bit challenging for me to mark all of these up and get it all bolted into place. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a rock solid car. I've been excited about getting back into this car. It's been a very long time. This has been sitting, and so yeah, that's where I sit.